Welcome to Moment Talk. I'm your host, Shisa Moore. On episode 23, we bring on a gentleman named Bobby Yang. He recently made a video that caught our attention and resonated with us, and I'm pretty sure it may resonate with some of our audience too that are listening. He goes back about talking about quitting his job at 23, not sure what to do, not confused at what to do. On top of that, he's finding himself. But the key point of this is just keep going. So, with more further ado, let's jump on in and listen to what he has to say. But first, let's thank our sponsors. Today's sponsor is brought to you by She Sells Menswear. Are you looking for the latest trendy men's fashion? Look no further. She Sells Menswear carries handcrafted bow ties, suit accessories, and everyday streetwear. They are your one-stop mall-inspired men's shop. You can search them online at www.xixomenswear.com. Now let's get back to the show. Hey, we are back. We are super excited. It's Seesaw here, and on the other side of the line, we have Bobby. Yo, Bobby, man, how's it going?
Yourself.
Cool, man. Where you located, dude?
So I'm based out of La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Okay, so you're feeling the Midwest coldness here, as I am too.
Oh yeah.
Tell us one thing of the listeners that we don't know about you.
So one thing you guys might not know about me is I come from a relatively small family. But with it being so small, it makes me kind of appreciate each and every individual more. Growing up, I wasn't really the closest with my family, but I think definitely as I've gotten older, that's definitely changed.
How small of a family?
So I've got four of us kids. So I mean, not super small, I guess. Now that I think about it, but 6 total, including parents. But
it's not typical Hmong people where they're you're working
right.
for a soccer team of 10 or something, right?
Right. My point exactly.
Well, hey, Bobby, one thing I really appreciate your time of coming on, and you made a recent video about late November you released it during Thanksgiving, and we wanted to bring that back. Could you tell us your feeling behind or lost in life in that video? It seemed to have resonated with so many people out there, ranging from different age.
Yeah, so just kind of quickly touching on that video, like you said, to summarize for those that if you haven't seen it, it's just a quick little video of me talking about, how I'm feeling a little lost in life and how life's not a race. That's one thing I realized over these last year and a half or so. But yeah, no, what I was feeling was just something that has been going through my mind a lot ever since graduating college and working a full-time job for the last 2 years. It was just a collection of emotions and that led me up to making up that video. And it was honestly, more so just a reminder to myself, so much every once in a while and say, hey, just because you're not where you thought you'd be, not in life. And at the end of the day, it's not a race with anyone. It's really just you got to live life you want to.
And then for those who haven't seen it, we'll link it in our comments and in our section so you could watch it again. I watched that video too, and even you're in your early 20s, I'm in my late 30s, and I feel the same as well about that video.
Mm-hmm.
Can you recall what your thoughts were before recording that? You mentioned your feelings, but how about your thoughts?
Thoughts, honestly, at the moment, it was just one of those, like, obviously leading up to my trip, I had, an itching of making a video similar to that. So it wasn't just completely out of the blue. Just so the viewers know, it wasn't completely out of the blue. It was something I kind of had to, if this video reaches out to one person and they take some value out of it, then that's more than enough for me.
Cool. You mentioned a conversation with a friend that influenced you into making that video. Mind telling us a little bit more about that conversation?
Going into too much detail, the conversation actually was with a collective group of friends, meeting up with, catching up with old friends after graduating college, after having not seen them for a while. It's just, hey, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, can you believe this person's getting married? Can you believe this our old friend is having kids and stuff like that? And then we just got to talking, hey, why are we getting married? But we shouldn't compare ourselves or judge ourselves to that standard. I think everyone has their own timeline, but that ultimately was what that video stemmed from, was conversations with old friends after time and living else, that hey, just because some of our old friends are going off getting married, having kids, and some of us aren't, it's okay.
In the video, it seemed like you were in a beach setting. Where were you?
So I was actually in a relatively secluded beach in Bali, Indonesia. I was, like I said, the video itself was a little more planned than people might have thought. I wanted to shoot it outside in a really beautiful environment during sunset, to just make it a little more visually appealing versus, me just talking somewhere else,
Yeah, we'll get back to
in,
more talking about your traveling in
in a room
Bali.
or something like that.
What inspires that video from that conversation again? It was just talking about you and your friends. And why did you feel it was important to make it? And were you surprised of the response that you received? I mean, more important the response that you received.
Yeah. So, kind of twofold to answer that question. So, like I said earlier, it was really more so just a reminder to myself, to get some emotions, like my reaction to the response of certain individuals, and in general, it was pretty amazing because, to be honest, I wasn't gonna post that video. I thought I got done I finished up making it, and I was watching it over back and forth, and I was like, I doubt anyone will be able to relate to this. I'm not gonna post it. So I actually slept on it, and the next day I was like, you know what? I already made it. I put some effort into it. I'm just gonna post it. See what happens. I didn't anything. I didn't expect it to get the responses that it did, but I'm really glad that some people took value from it, and some people said that it motivated them and inspired, something that I kind of want to strive for.
What was your best comment on that video?
Sorry, say that again, Shiso.
What was your best comment on that video that you're just just almost speechless?
Oh man, there's too many to really narrow down to a specific one. But if I had to think, I do remember there was an individual, an older male, who also sent me a couple messages, in my direct messages afterwards. But he basically just said, he felt the exact same way, and then I don't want to go into too much detail between our conversation between me and this guy, but ultimately um, he was thinking about essentially just giving up. And I don't know what in terms what that means. You never hope anyone would give up, when it comes to life, Shiso. But I don't know where his head was at, but all I could tell him was, you just got to keep going. Like I said, I kind of have a saying or a belief where I think in the end everything's going to be okay. I'm glad he felt, some sort of way from the video.
Your video inspires me to remind me of a anime character every time you mention never giving up and just keep moving forward. Do you know who this character is?
The anime character?
Yeah.
Probably have to say, I don't know, Naruto?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
Naruto always says
Naruto.
never give up.
You guessed it right on the dot. He's
I
like,
love me
man,
some good Naruto back in the day.
you mentioned the other day that you wanted to spend some time traveling. Are you currently working now?
So right now I'm not. So like I told Mai yesterday, I am currently unemployed right now. I've been unemployed for about the last 4 months, just traveling, and just kind of taking videography and photography more seriously on the side. I don't know if a lot of people know about that, but I'm also a videographer and photographer. It's kind of what I love to do, unrelated to what I graduated college from. But no, I am currently not employed at the moment. I've just been doing a lot of side gigs for videography and photography.
Who knows? We might have you contract, do some work for us, collaborate on some things.
Yeah, just let me know.
If not, was there any um awakening or epiphany that confirmed this was what you needed to do?
Honestly, she's so I honestly there was any awakening or epiphany that came with it. It was just like I said, something that I've been feeling a lot very strongly about. Had a lot of conversations with my parents about, and I was just like, because when you solo travel, you have a lot of time to yourself, right? You have a lot of time to contemplate what you want to do with who you want to be. And this was a video that honestly I put a lot of thought into, and there wasn't anything about, oh, I want to inspire people. It's more, I just want to say what's on my mind and be myself. And if that inspires people, then so be it. But like I tell people, I'm not a motivational speaker. So I'm not I'm a 23-year-old kid. Like my dad says, my dad always tells me, Bob, try not to give too much advice. You're still a 23-year-old. I was like, yeah, you're right. So that's kind of one thing that I take seriously is I'm just going to say what's on my mind. And if it inspires people, then it does. But I'm no way, shape, or form a motivational speaker.
Okay,
If that answers.
we'll take that. Uh, when did your traveling start really taking off? Was the day you quit your job? I'm assuming that.
Yeah, so that's when it really started taking off was when I quit my job. And Bali was actually my very first international trip. I got a couple more coming up
Good
in the
choice.
spring. Yeah, very, very good choice. I'd highly recommend if you haven't ever been there. But I've got a couple more trips coming up in the spring and then in the summer as well. So I'm looking forward to those.
Can you kind of tell where you're heading that you booked your ticket to?
Yeah, so
Say
right now
Japan. Say
I've got a
Japan.
I want to go to Japan, but no, I haven't booked anything to
Okay.
Japan yet. My next trip is going to be in early March to Phuket, Thailand.
Ooh, there are some uber cheap flights. I am so debating to go in a March. Really contemplating hitting out
Right.
there. I saw some flights for like, dude, like $400.
Yeah.
For late. I'm
Yeah.
like, that is a deal going to Phuket.
Oh
Who
yeah,
knows? I
definitely.
might run into you out there.
All right, sounds good. Just let me know.
So many young adults nowadays want to do what you do, traveling and more traveling, but find it
Hmm.
difficult to do so. Perhaps it's time or finance, or maybe both. How do you plan this?
Yeah. So honestly, so there is a lot. People just think, oh, this kid just running off doing whatever he wants in life. That's not the case. There's a lot of planning that comes behind this, and I'm sure people now could agree. I think he's 25, 26. There's a lot of, he's been doing this for a while. There's a lot of behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. Financially, like I said, I worked a full time corporate job for about 2 years. Made good money. I'm not a very materialistic person. I don't spend a lot. I save and spend is what I like to say. To experience as many things, and traveling is one of those. So financially, you have to get yourself together. You can't be spending excessively. I don't need. I know people that buy $200 shoes and say, they don't have money to travel. Right? They're spending $200 on shoes. So it's just one of those things where financially you have to be smart about what you're doing with your then you want to do and see of the country that you're going to or wherever you're going to. You have to do a lot of research. Is it, how friendly is the country? research all the spots that you want to hit up in that place, so you know exactly where you're going to be on what day. Um, at least that's how I approach things. I don't like to wing it too much when it comes to traveling. Not to mention, I'm going by myself, so I like to plan a lot ahead so that I know where I am and I know where I'm going to be, and then I know where I'm going to stay for the day. So there's a lot of planning that comes with traveling.
With traveling, the last trip was Bali. Can you give one of your experience about Bali?
Yeah, so is Bali's economy thrives off of tourism. So with that being said, a lot of the Balinese people there English, at least enough to get by to help you, and whether that's helping you get around a city, helping you, order food, catch a taxi, whatever the case may be. I found that the majority of them spoke English well enough to help you if you didn't, if you were in a sticky situation. But that is one thing that was really nice, was just getting to meet a lot of Balinese people there. They were very friendly. Like I said, their economy thrives off tourism, so they speak English fairly well, and it was a really welcoming environment.
One thing you did in Bali is the good old infamous swinging off a swing, man. Am I right?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Scared at all? I mean, it made it look so beautifully like that's a must thing to do.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a must thing to do, and I was terrified. So, something that a lot of people don't know about me is I'm terrified of heights. However, I don't let that stop me from experiencing different things like that Bali swing. And I actually also went skydiving about a year back, and terrified of heights. Call me crazy.
West Coast, right? Am I believe in San Diego?
Yeah, yep. I was in California, roughly a couple months back, just to visit. So
Any specific reason or just out there and about?
no, just out there enjoying the beautiful weather.
One thing I want to resonate with you is this quitting your corporate job and just really thinking through this and then leaving, and now you're on this now you're on your trip, because it's done, it's paid for, while doing all these like activities. What's running through your mind, man? Are you thinking about your next step? Are you not thinking anything at all? What are you
So
self helping yourself about?
yeah, so right now I'm kind of just taking a year off to just enjoy myself, live life and to the fullest essentially, because it all stemmed from a conversation that I had with my parents. Obviously, when you tell any parents, not to, and in this case specifically Hmong parents, hey mom, dad, I want to quit my corporate job that pays me pretty well. There's gonna be some backlash, and it took a lot of convincing. But one thing that my mom told me that really resonated with me was, you know what, go ahead and travel and get all this experiencing life out of your system. Right now, when you're 23, have no kids, no girlfriend, no wife, because she would rather have me do this now than when I'm 29 or 30 and I have a family, So I think she understands that right now I have the capacity and capability to do these things with very minimal risk.
I'm glad your mom is very supportive of your decisions. Like some Hmong family, they come in really tradition and culture, as in if you're 23 and you're not married, Bobby, something wrong with you, man.
Right.
But instead, she's very open to have you really see what's out there and have that experience that you want on this trip. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I told them, hey, do you guys want to come with me? But no, my parents are busy individuals, and I'm gonna be out there for about a week and a half. So they said maybe another time.
You mean Phuket, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Anything besides Phuket?
So nothing booked as of now other than Phuket, but I also really want to hit up Iceland. I'm thinking about making a trip up there in the summer to see the Northern Lights. So that's probably next on my
Ooh, I am definitely looking for your I am definitely looking for your footage for sure. Your video footage, you're like, oh man,
thanks.
it's definitely seven wonders of the world. I want to see that one time too.
Right.
I travel
Hmm.
a lot in the stateside, and I've been only out, of the country once. So I myself need a lot more traveling to do too. And if you recommend Bali, I got to go there, man.
Yeah, definitely would. Definitely would.
I'm just kind of curious, how much is flight? Maybe about $1,000 round trip.
Round trip. But I think you could find them for probably around 700-800 bucks.
Would you budget yourself to be about 1,500 all said and done for that trip?
Yeah, that actually was my budget. And I actually went under it by about 200. I spent about 1,300 total on the trip. So just to be completely transparent with you guys.
And for Phuket coming up, you're probably gonna budget maybe what, less than $1,000?
That's what I'm thinking right now because I did get the flights for very cheap. Like you said, I got them for about 400 bucks. So, and I've been told Thailand is a very inexpensive country. So I would shoot for about under 1,000. Yeah.
So Thailand, March, you're thinking about Iceland, summer.
Mhm.
What about the fall?
So fall really depends what I have going. I've got actually a lot of client work for videography and photography. A lot of people have been booking me for weddings, graduations, and also retirement parties. So I don't want to book any trip too far out at the moment because just in case any client where they say, "Hey, we want you to record this event." I want to make myself available if I need to.
As far as your freelance work, you do all the video, the recording. How about the editing? Do you do that too?
Yes, I do. So I'm a one man crew at the moment. I do all the shooting, editing.
Probably the janitor and at the same time too.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but honestly, it doesn't feel like work to me. That's the thing. And if I ever get into the workforce, I'm leaning more towards maybe finding something in video production because it does not feel like work to me. I enjoy it a lot, and I think that's more.
You keep mentioning work, and you mentioned your passion of videography. Have you ever considered being just self-employed?
I have. I think at this point in my career and life right now, being self-employed might be a little too, I wouldn't say presumptuous, but might be a little too early right now. Um, just because I want to gather a couple more experiences. Like I said, maybe start off working for a video production company somewhere in a big city, and just kind of see how they run things first, like an actual video production company, and then maybe eventually become self-employed. But as of right now, I don't have anything set in stone at the moment to be self-employed. Like I said, I'm just kind of doing a 180 in my life right now, and I kind of just want to hone in on my craft, my skills, and get really good at video production and photography as well. And then who knows what the future might hold. But I wouldn't say no. I never want to say no to anything. I like to keep an open mind. So maybe someday in the future.
I personally would definitely recommend it. And then for the listeners, it's not the path for everybody to be self-employed, or AKA entrepreneur is the word,
Hmm.
to do it, because it is a very tough path to take. I feel like it's the most rewarding though.
Right, right.
I hope you find that and have your own video production one day, Bobby. Lastly, I wanted to say, is there any other word of advice you wanted to give to our listeners?
Any last words of advice? So if there was anything I would want to leave the listeners with would just be, you are responsible for your own happiness, right? At the end of the day, when you go to bed at night and you ask yourself, are you actually truly happy with where you are in your life? And if the answer isn't a definitive yes, if you had to take a couple seconds to think about it, then I think it's a no. And it's your responsibility to, take the steps and set the goals to get to where you want to be, wherever that is, and to be happy. Because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters, regardless of what anyone thinks.
Well, thank you for the wise word and advice.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate
We
it.
are really, really appreciative of your time. We're gonna wrap up this and go on with our day, man. Again, me and
Okay.
Mike can't thank you enough, and we are super excited to have our listener listening to this too.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for having me.
That ends our episode. If you haven't yet, visit our official website at www.hmongmentalk.com or like and share us on Facebook at Hmong Men Talk.
Who also believes in building family values. She believes not only in investing in your future, but also investing in your present moment, creating time and memories with your family. If you have any insurance needs or any questions, please don't hesitate to call her at the link below.
Also, a special thanks to DJ Peter for using his beats. You can check him out at YouTube.